Hey everyone, welcome back to LearnLab. Today, we're diving into the life of a true visionary, a man who literally put the universe in our pockets, Steve Jobs. His story is one of incredible highs, crushing lows, and a relentless pursuit of perfection that changed the world forever. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's explore the epic journey of the man behind the Apple. Our story begins on February 24th, 1955. Steve was born in San Francisco and adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs, a working-class couple in what would soon become Silicon Valley. From a young age, Steve was different. He was curious, rebellious, and deeply intelligent. His father, a mechanic, taught him how to work with his hands in the family garage, sparking an early interest in electronics. This hands-on experience, combined with his sharp mind, set the stage for everything that was to come. He was a tinkerer, but he was also a thinker. He wasn't just interested in how things worked. He was obsessed with how they could work better and look beautiful while doing it. High school was a pivotal time for Steve. It's where he met his future co-founder, Steve Wozniak, or Woz, as he's famously known. Woz was the technical genius, a wizard with circuits and code. Jobs was the visionary, the one who saw the potential for Woz's creations to change the world. They were a perfect pair. Their first venture? Building and selling blue boxes, illegal devices that let you make free long-distance phone calls. It was a mischievous start, but it showed Jobs the power of taking sophisticated technology and making it simple and accessible for everyone. It was also his first taste of building a product and selling it directly to a customer. After a brief and unconventional stint at Reed College, where he famously dropped out but continued to drop in on classes that interested him, like calligraphy, Jobs embarked on a spiritual journey to India. This trip profoundly influenced him. He came back with a new perspective, embracing Zen Buddhism and the principles of simplicity and focus. That calligraphy class? It might sound random, but Jobs later said it was instrumental in developing the beautiful typography and fonts that made the first Macintosh so revolutionary. He understood that technology wasn't just about function. It was about the experience, the artistry, the human connection. In 1976, the magic happened. Back in his parents' garage, Jobs, Wozniak, and their friend Ronald Wayne founded Apple Computer. Their first product, the Apple I, was basically a circuit board. You had to build your own case and find your own keyboard. But it was a start. It was the Apple II, however, that really put them on the map. It was one of the first truly personal computers, a complete package that was ready to use right out of the box. It was a massive success, turning Apple from a garage startup into a major player in the tech industry. For the first time, computers weren't just for hobbyists or giant corporations. They were for schools, for homes, for people. As Apple grew, so did the pressure. The company went public in 1980, making Jobs a multimillionaire overnight. He was driving the development of a groundbreaking new project, the Macintosh. He was famous for his reality distortion field, an intense, charismatic ability to convince his team that they could achieve the impossible. The Macintosh, launched in 1984 with that iconic Super Bowl ad, was a masterpiece. It introduced the graphical user interface and the mouse to the masses. No more typing complex commands. Now you could just point and click. It was intuitive, it was friendly, it was the future. But Jobs' intense, demanding, and often abrasive management style created friction. He clashed with his own board of directors and with the CEO he had personally recruited, John Sculley. The conflict came to a head, and in 1985, in a stunning turn of events, Steve Jobs was forced out of Apple, the very company he had co-founded. It was a devastating blow. He later described it as being publicly fired and feeling like his life's focus was gone. It seemed like the end of his story. But if we know anything about Steve Jobs, it's that he never gave up. He was down, but he was far from out. In his time away from Apple, he didn't just sit around. He founded a new company, Next. Next built powerful, high-end computers for universities and businesses. While they weren't a huge commercial success, the software they developed, Next Step, was incredibly advanced and would become critically important later on. But that wasn't all. In 1986, he bought a little computer graphics division from Lucasfilm for $10 million. He renamed it Pixar. You might have heard of it. Under Jobs' leadership and funding, Pixar went on to create the first ever computer-animated feature film, Toy Story, and revolutionized the animation industry forever. Meanwhile, back at Apple, things were not going well. Without Jobs' vision and leadership, the company was struggling. They were losing market share, their product line was confusing, and they were on the brink of bankruptcy. In a desperate move, Apple bought Next in 1997, primarily for its advanced operating system. And with that purchase, Steve Jobs made his triumphant return to the company he had started in a garage 2 decades earlier. He came back, first as an advisor, and then as interim CEO, which soon became permanent. The comeback was one of the most legendary in business history. Jobs immediately went to work, ruthlessly simplifying Apple's chaotic product line. He famously drew a simple 4-quadrant grid on a whiteboard: a consumer desktop, a consumer portable, a pro desktop, and a pro portable. That's it. Everything else was canceled. He refocused the company on making just a few products, but making them incredibly well. This was the Think Different era. It was about challenging the status quo, celebrating creativity, and putting design and user experience back at the heart of Apple. The first major product of this new era was the iMac in 1998. It was a bold, colorful, all-in-one computer that looked like nothing else on the market. It was a statement. Apple was back, and it was cool again. But the iMac was just the beginning. Jobs had a much bigger vision. He saw a future where our digital lives, our music, our photos, our videos, would be at the center of our universe. And he wanted Apple to be the hub. In 2001, he introduced the iPod. It wasn't the first digital music player, but it was the first one that was simple, elegant, and easy to use. 1,000 songs in your pocket. Combined with the iTunes Store, it completely changed the music industry. Then came the iPhone in 2007. Jobs stood on stage and said, "Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone." And he was right. It was an iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator all in one device. It kickstarted the smartphone revolution and fundamentally changed how we live, work, and communicate. 3 years later, in 2010, he introduced the iPad, creating an entirely new category of device between the smartphone and the laptop. Each of these products was a massive risk, a bet on a future that only Jobs seemed to see clearly. And each one paid off, transforming Apple into the most valuable company in the world. He was a master presenter, a storyteller who could captivate an audience and make them believe in his vision. His keynote presentations, the famous Stevenauts, became must-see events. Tragically, throughout this period of incredible success, Jobs was privately battling pancreatic cancer. He fought the disease for years with the same intensity he brought to everything else. In August 2011, he stepped down as CEO of Apple, passing the torch to his longtime second-in-command, Tim Cook. On October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs passed away at the age of 56. The world mourned the loss of a true genius. His legacy is all around us. It's in the clean lines of the products we use every day, the intuitive interfaces that just work, and the belief that technology should be beautiful and human. He taught us to think different, to stay hungry, to stay foolish. He was a complex, often difficult man, but his passion for excellence and his relentless drive to make a ding in the universe changed our world for the better. His story is a powerful reminder that with vision, passion, and an insane amount of hard work, you really can change the world. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you found this story as inspiring as I do, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of the people who shaped our world. Let me know in the comments which innovator you'd like to see us cover next.